it's Lori again from Nisha. We're here to do your final adoption, and I'd like you to know a couple things. One is we're going to do secret words again, so get your pen and paper out so I know that you listen to it. First of all, I'd like you to open your package, and when you open your package, you're going to discover the first part of it has a lot of loose documents. There are some interesting things you might like. One is how to get in touch with Barb and myself. We're available for life to help you in any way. Second of all, there's a gift certificate from the Animal Hospital. And third of all, there's some gift certificates from Geronimo's. Nisha is a positive training organization. We do not condone any aversive training techniques or methods as they cause fear, and fear is the basic cause of aggression. So positive training began with the big animals. You can't force an elephant to sit down. You've got to reward them for sitting and then move on from there. Growling. You never want to punish a growl. A growl is an animal's way of communicating. It's communicating, just saying, I'm a little uncomfortable here. Respect the growl. We can make the growl go away, but we do that with counter conditioning, pairing scary things and really good things, and it'll go away. A page is all about canine body language. There's a lot more on the zip drive as well. There are also a whole section on dog-dog play groups so that they can be safe. It'll really help keep you safe, understand where you are in your training, keep your dog safe, and keep your dog from being someplace where it's going to make a bad decision because it's over-aroused. Not a big fan of Cesar Millan. He is an aversive trainer. We don't need to force animals to the ground to make them respect us or think we're the alpha leader. We already have everything they need. All we need to do is reward them with the things they need for doing what we care for. Socializing. When we're socializing animals, we need to pair things with really high value things, really high value food or toys or something like that. So let's say we're working on going to town and we're feeding, we're walking towards the crowded zone. At some point the dog decides it doesn't want to go any further. That's fine. Just turn around and walk back. But now we're not going to feed. We're just going to keep walking. He's made the choice. And letting a dog choose sometimes is just exactly what you do want. Just like us, having choices makes one much more confident. Okay. The second word that I want you to consider is positive. Counter conditioning. Counter conditioning is how we get dogs to not be afraid of things they are already afraid of, things they may growl at, lunge at, whatever. What we do is we set up the situation in a way the dog can understand it and accept it and do it correctly. So sometimes this requires making the scary thing a little less scary. Sometimes we accomplish this by moving further back. Sometimes we accomplish this by moving the volume down. So, for example, if we were working on fear of bicycles, we might get 100 yards from a bike path, and every time a bicycle appeared on the stage left, we'd start feeding, and then we'd feed until the bicycle exits stage right. At that point, after 2 or 3 repetitions of this, the dog's going to see the bicycle and go, oh, geez, love bicycles. Once the dog looks at you, once it sees the bicycle, we know we've made a point. Take 4 steps forward, rinse, repeat, and do it again. Eventually, you'll have a dog who thinks the sight of a bicycle is the best thing in the world. Let's say it's something more like the vacuum cleaner. You can break it down into little bits. So, for example, one is the noise, one is the shape. So you can do the sound by either recording off the internet, put it in a back room with multiple doors. One person turns the vacuum on, the other person feeds. Vacuum goes off, stop feeding. Vacuum goes on, start feeding. You could do the same thing with the vacuum in the room but not plugged in. Someone moves the vacuum, you get fed. Somebody stops moving it, feeding stops. You also could take the vacuum and put little pieces of cookies all over it, so the dog has to go and investigate it and get the cookies right off of it. All these things, the smaller pieces, going slowly, lower the volume, really work to change the dog's attitude about things. Puppies just nip. That's what they do. Puppies nip all the time. It's part of how they learn to play. They play with their siblings this way. And so they will do that with you if they have the opportunity. They're doing it to get our attention. Pushing a dog away, yelling at a dog, doing any of that gives them exactly the attention they want. We want to remove all attention. If a dog tries to bite and nip at us, we want to take our hands back, turn our backs, take our visual attention away from them, and not talk to them. If necessary, leave the room if needed, but do not give them that attention. You can put toys in their mouth, and another thing that's really important is make sure you get your puppy in for some puppy play dates. That way it knows where this puppy energy and puppy play style belongs, not playing with its human siblings. Our next one up is a demo. Leave it as our next very important thing to train. These are basic behaviors that you really want to do. You want to get it built into your dog's behavior and into your own behavior. Dogs, we really don't want to just take things from dogs. They become defensive about it. They may try and bite you or bite somebody else who takes things from them. They also may try and eat it to keep you from taking it, which causes expensive surgery. So with a few simple repetitions, and this is one that you're going to repeat 1,000 times. We're going to start in the living room. Basically, if the dog's chewing on something, you're just going to toss food. You can pick up the item that they were eating, and it doesn't really matter. You can practice this with things the dog can have or things the dog can't have. So this is something she can have, so I'm just going to let her have it back. Allie. This is when you want to rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. So I'm going to make her drop it again by just going, leave it. You need to practice this a lot. So you need to practice it for two reasons. One, the dog needs to know that leave it is a signal that it's going to get its head to jerk around because you're going to give it food. And B, you need to get it out of your mouth when you need the opportunity. So now when you're walking down the path and there's something gross on the side of the road, you can say, leave it. And the dog will turn to look at you, and you have a nanosecond to get it accomplished. The next couple things I'd like to talk about is basically dog manners and respect. Please, when you have your dogs out there, if your dog, first of all, if your dog doesn't want to go say hello to another dog, please respect your dog. He may see something you don't see. Also, it's not a bad idea to teach your dog that sometimes they can't say hello to another dog, even if it's perfectly fine with everybody, just because it's good for them to practice the ability not to go say hello. Also, you really want to, if you're out for a walk with your dog or dogs, please gather them up, get them on leash, get off the trail, offer respect to the other people and dogs who are out on the trails. This is an island with leash laws. Please do not force your dogs on other people. The next one we're going to talk about is targeting. This is also a demonstration. This is how all animals are trained to do everything, from elephants and chickens. It's how we teach chickens to play tic-tac-toe. It's how they do husbandry on the big animals. And it all starts very simply. It starts with, Allie, wake up. Allie, I have a little piece of food in my hand. Yes. Now this hand is empty. Yes. Yes. Allie's had a little training before this. So with this, you can train the dog to follow your hands. You can teach the dog to do circles. teach the dog to sit pretty. Yeah. It's the basis of almost all training. Agility, teaching your dog to walk into a door, walking it onto the scale, teaching it to ring the doorbells, to go out to pee and poop. And another thing that's come to me recently is, since everybody's going to stick their hand in your dog's face anyway, they might as well think that every time somebody sticks their hand in their face, they're going to get a cookie. Our next topic is teaching your dog how to walk on leash properly. Basically, if your dog pulls you across the street and gets across the street, the dog's been rewarded for pulling you across the street. Start at the beginning of your walk to keep it a calm walk. Make the dog sit to get its leash on. Go calmly out the door. Come to a stop. If the dog pulls, stop. Once the dog stops pulling, turns around to look to you, what are we doing? Then you can take another step forward. You also can use targeting in this, because you can do targeting like this. Touch, 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 to keep the dogs close at hand. That's another good way to use it. I also use targeting as a distraction. For example, say I'm in the veterinary clinic and I'm sitting there with my dogs. I'm just going touch, 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 touch. We're playing a game, they're getting cookies. Life is good. Everybody enjoys it. They're not paying attention to the other dogs. They're not worrying about the vets. Our next magic word is reward. Write it down. Constructional attention is our next topic. In constructional attention, I like to think of it as my computer station work, when your dog comes and starts mugging you when you're trying to get some work done. Basically, it's like puppy nipping. They're trying to get your attention. If they're mugging you, I withdraw all my attention. I don't make eye contact. If they don't have 4 feet on the floor, I pull my eyes away. I don't touch them. I don't push them. I don't talk to them. I totally take my attention. Once they have 4 feet on the floor, then I go in for a nice pet with one hand. If they sit or lay down, then I go in for a nice double-handed rubbing. That incrementally rewards the dogs more for being calm than it does for being crazy, which is all we really care about anyways. Now, we have another one of your fundamental behaviors. This is called mat training. And this is a great behavior. A mat is not a bed. A mat is something small enough that you can roll it up and stick it in your bag. Think ferry, something you can roll up, stick in your boat bag to go on the boat. And then we'll tell you some things it's useful for. Yes. So I've just given her a high value piece of food. Now I'm going to throw some kibble to get her off the mat. Yes. That was high value. Toss a little low value. She's soon going to discover that this is the best place in the world to be. Yes. 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 So what I'm really waiting for is I'm waiting for her foot to touch that fabric. That's the thing I want her to recognize. This has a variety of uses for you. One use is for travel. It's great for travel. It's sort of like taking a little portable crate with you. It over time develops a sense of, yes, a sense of security, sort of like taking your pillow on vacation with you. The dog's going to be more comfortable sitting on his mat than it is in the regular, and it is an active behavior. So while it seems like the dog's doing nothing, it's just laying on a mat, it's actually thinking about something. It's thinking about staying there, and that keeps it from paying attention to some other things that perhaps you don't want to pay attention to. The next thing we have to talk about is safe tug. Safe tug is a great behavior. It is not for children to play. It's an adult behavior. The tug belongs to you. It does not belong to the dog. It's a tool that you're going to use. Basically, it teaches both self-control and builds confidence in a dog. So with the self-control portion of it, by gradually raising the excitement level, you teach them control. So we start with a tug, 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 enough. If you have to throw some food, you throw some food. We work them way up to tug, 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 enough. So now we've got a dog that goes from 1,000 to 0, yes, in 1 second. It also, in a dog, just like us, in a dog that doesn't have much confidence, doing something well restores that confidence to them and gives them success stories. It's a great distraction. So for example, you have to go past someplace that's scary, you can tug them past it. Also, it's a great reward. So if the dog's coming back to you on a run and comes back to you, it's something you can add into the loving and the food and the thing. You can add a little game of tug. In which case, you want to keep one small enough you can stuff it in your pocket or your walk bag. All right, insurance, please think about it. And we have one last secret word, and the last secret word is love. And I'd like you to think about some things. Respect your town laws. Please pick up after your pets. It's the only way we're going to have nice walking trails to go on and not have them taken away from us. Please leash up your dogs. Nantucket has a leash law. Please leash up your dogs when you see other people coming, at the very least. And thank you very much for rescuing. And I hope you have a wonderful long life with your new pal. Thank you.